right, Max. I just did probably like 40% of an episode where I talked about the Knicks' future and how bright it was and how it was such a great season and there's no way Tibbs is going anywhere. And then Shams messed up our whole day. I'm a little devastated and shook, and you're my go-to emotionally for this stuff. Where are you at mentally right now?
You texted me. I had to pull over the car. I got so scared. This is what you texted me. Whenever you do this, I get very nervous. I have no idea what's happening. You just texted, OMG. Is it? Question mark. And I just went, let me go to ESPN, because if there's not like a big red marker that says breaking news, then something like really bad just
Right.
Rather than have an opinion on the decision itself, I just think about Tom Thibodeau as like a guy and a coach, and I'll never forget there was it was like when the Knicks were on that sort of Derrick Rose tour. You remember when
Yes, early Julius Randle, yeah.
And they went to Chicago, where it was obviously like a big celebration. And the press conference afterwards, Thibodeau's up there and he's doing his usual thing, even though it's, like this emotional sort of
I'm gonna go watch
culmination of Derrick Rose's career, and he's just sort of like, very, very blunt with his answers. And at some point during the press conference, Joakim Noah comes in and disrupts the conference. And he made some joke about like his wedding or something, or it was a very personal joke that was very inside that nobody understood. And Noah came in a little bit hot, and Tibbs for a second had to like figure out what exactly was going on. He cracks a smile, which cracks Noah. Noah comes up to the table, whatever. Tibbs stands up, and they give each other a hug. That was like out of a movie. Like, this is my coach.
And they love him.
History, and we love each other. And from that point forward, look, the complaints about Tom Thibodeau's coaching are not like, secrets.
I've uttered quite a few times and texted you quite a few times this playoff run, like, Tibbs, man, what is he doing? And I don't know either about basketball. Like, I know, but I don't know.
Right. So I don't know anything. But when I saw that moment, it really was like, for me, I thought, from this point forward, I don't care whatever I think or anybody else thinks. I'm with this guy.
Let's play a little game, okay? If we were journalists and Leon Rose said, all right,
hold on,
yeah, you go. Now he puts on glasses.
Now I'm a journalist.
Leon Rose has granted me and you an interview. Just the two of us. We're going to sit down for 5 minutes. We get one question each. Do you want me to go first and you have a minute to think? Because I know what I would ask him. Okay. Hey, Leon, sir. Jerry Ferrara from Throwbacks. Was anything short of the finals always going to be this result? Meaning, like, because I feel like with that question, you can imply, yes, on the outside world, it looks like chemistry was high, teams playing well, but was this finals or bust and we didn't even know it because of the moves? It was so quick, Max. So that's what I would ask Leon Rose. I would say, if they lost to the Celtics, this was probably going to happen. Was it something that happened in a Pacers series that you really said, this has got to end now? That would be my question to Leon Rose.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me worry too, because, it felt like all year long, with the Towns trade, they assembled this new team and they were figuring each other out and what the lineups were and what the chemistry was. And there was times where the Brunson Towns thing looked unstoppable. And there was times where it felt like they completely went away from it. And then Brunson gets injured for a while. And then all of a sudden the team looks like a totally different
Right.
team, but a really
Bridges gets
exciting team. And
unlocked. Yeah.
Bridges is playing great, and OG's scoring 30 a game, and you're like, whoa, there's a lot here. But it also felt like, for me at least, I was like, this is a great starting point. I think we're a year away. And there was Boston looming out there, who I thought, well, we'll never beat.
We're not gonna beat Boston.
And so we go into the playoffs, and I thought, just don't lose to Detroit. Beat Detroit.
I was there with you.
I was like, let's just beat Detroit, and then we'll get to Boston. And that's expected.
And then just put up a fight, man. Put up a fight. Whatever you do against Boston, just don't die quietly.
And then all of a sudden, the Knicks beat Boston, and I think it really. I don't know. I think what the question that you asked makes me think about how did expectations shift as a result of how the playoffs.
That's the question I'm asking. Basically, essentially, it's like, well, because also this is something that Leinart and I talked about on the show today, which we don't have to cut because of this firing, was it certainly does feel like the dawn of a new day in the NBA, where we went from super teams and big three to, all right, maybe you could do like a superstar 1 and 1A and some role players. And that's worked like for the Nuggets, and that's worked for the Celtics to a degree. And now I feel like we're entering this. I mean, look at the Thunder and the Pacers. We're entering this. You got to kind of be 10 deep now if you really want to last these 3 grueling rounds to get to the finals and go. And, obviously the Pacers were built for that. I just still wonder, obviously, like, it's just so hard to know what the expectations were, like you said, because I also don't think you make this move without firmly knowing who your coach is going to be coming off this firing. And I don't think you make this move without, Max, you and I, I feel like we've almost talked about this before. You and I have been in the entertainment business for almost 30 years at this point. We're not always involved in the big decisions, but like, what's kind of happening if it is, right? Like if they were going to remove your showrunner or a producer or another, you might not get a say, but you might know. Maybe I'm saying you don't make this move unless you know who the coach is. And do you do this move without saying to Brunson and Cat and Hart and like, hey, we're going to move on from Tibbs? Not saying we want your opinion, but maybe just give them a chance to die on the sword, and maybe no one did. Pure conjecture and speculation. But like, you could be, if you're firing Tibbs, you have to end up with the guy that you have either always wanted or have been flirting with for quite some time. Fair? Come on, bro. Who are we going to end up with? If Johnny, all right, well, let's go down through it.
Can I give you a,
bring me back.
I'm going to bring you back.
Please do.
How about, and I'm not suggesting this as as the next coach of the Knicks.
Oh no.
But remember Mark Jackson has an incredible run with Golden State, and then loses his job. Everybody's like, wait, what? And then Steve Kerr comes in, and Steve Kerr wins what? 11 championships.
Just has one of the best runs ever.
Becomes the Olympic coach, and is like, now. But so I do think that's a possibility.
Realistically, to me, and again, I know nothing. I'm just looking because I watch every game. The only candidates I could imagine that you fire Tibbs, who knocked on the door this year, is obviously the Mike Malone stuff is super interesting. Champion, but offense heavy. I mean, the fun rumors like Jeff Van Gundy, but him and Tibbs are kind of like boys. Like, would he do? Would he take over? I don't know. I just don't know. And if Van Gundy wants the head coach again, I don't know. Then obviously the fun one is Jay Wright because of the Villanova thing. We'll go full Villanova. Those to me are like the 3 realistic ones. Then there's the ugly side of Twitter is like, Spoelstra is going to leave Miami. Okay, that's interesting. Kerr is going to leave Golden State. It's never happening. And then there's the wacky Meta World Peace puts his name in a hat. Rick Pitino. I got to imagine it's one of those 3 guys that I just mentioned. No? And then lastly, sorry, I cannot forget Johnny Bryant, who was with the Knicks and is like a finalist, I think, for the Suns job, is a very, very good coach. Loved him when he was in New York. Do you fire Tibbs and hire a first-year coach? So I just hit you with a lot.
I'm going to read what I texted you. If they announce John Stamos as the new coach, this means Giannis is coming.
We haven't even crossed the cat bridge yet.
If the new coach or the assistant coach has the last name Antetokounmpo, I think I know where this is going.
Knicks signed Thanasis Antetokounmpo to the Westchester Knicks. Yeah.
Look, I mean, truly, if that's a real possibility, that then trumps whatever relationship you have with Tibbs. And
right,
if you think that's going to make if you think that puts you in a better position, or if there's some world where that puts you in a pole position to get Giannis, you make the move. Okay,
right. It was interesting that The Athletic seemingly had an article written for like the last 2 weeks that they were just waiting for the Knicks season to end. They will change the date and launch it. That's always a sign that, either there was things going on long before this, or there's a coaching change about to happen and they're getting out in front of the narrative. This did feel like, parting shots for me, it did feel like the Cat trade emotionally, where it's like, you get a little excited because, maybe it is Spoelstra. Maybe it is Mike Malone. That could be an exciting outcome. Like getting Cat, that's exciting. But the sadness of not finishing what you started, similarly with Randall and DiVincenzo, and now a Coach Tibbs. But if you look at the history, every time this has happened and you feel that way as a Knicks fan, they have upgraded that next year. Right. It has brought them to another level.
And I'll say this, because I feel the same way. It's really hard to digest these things.
It's sad. It's sad.
When RJ Barrett got traded, I was like, wait, what?
Look what I'm wearing, bro. I'm wearing an Obi Toppin Knicks shirt out of honor and respect.
I was sort of like, I just really wrapped my head around RJ being the future of this franchise. But this idea of like having this core group together, especially as these players ascend and become financially, or are worth financially what the new cap or what, right. I don't understand how any of this stuff works.
Yeah.
But the math of it is so insane. Like, I'm not sure that these homegrown teams, these groups that started together, like the Jaylen Browns and Jason Tatums, and we'll see what happens with that. But like, I don't know that that's necessarily a realistic possibility anymore in the NBA.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
There's a version where Leon Rose and those guys are like, we are and have been aware of the direction this league is going, and it's a year-to-year league, and we need to sort of adjust and make moves based on that.
And I'll end with this and we'll let you go. I did say at some point too to Leinart today, in terms of the season being a success, it is. This team has always felt like it was built to beat Boston, and they did. I don't think anyone built the team to beat the Pacers. I don't think that was on the agenda, and now that is part, and now it looks like the Celtics might be taking a year off. Who knows? I'm sure they'll fight through it and be competitive. The East is ripe for the picking, and maybe they just see a real opportunity to solidify the Knicks as the perennial number 1-2 seed, and Eastern Conference Finals now will be a failure if it's only that.
5-6 years ago, we were like, and now we're realistically talking about, the Eastern Conference Finals as a bust.
As a bust. Right. We're not used to this, which is also part of the problem.
No, this is all. So. Look, this is this is all great. This is all we're like the Knicks are in a wonderful position, and as a fan base, we get to experience the potential of this team for the foreseeable future, at least. I mean, certainly next year.
This is why you're my break in case of emergency Knick fan bestie, because how we usually end most of our calls is on a high note. I feel like we're leaving on a high. I feel like we just went through therapy and it's out, and I do feel ready to move on now.
The Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals, and we
very winnable series as well.
We had an awful first game. It was a very winnable series. I don't walk into next season going, you just got to beat the Pacers. I think it's, I think they're a great team, but they're one of a very few great teams in the East.
Tell Tessa I said hello, and I enjoyed seeing you stressing. It made me feel good knowing there was someone else out there that also had to just do things to deal with the stress. So I appreciated those posts.
It was that the playoffs were a long road. Every game took too much out of me.
Keep Ozzy away from the Knicks, bro. Keep him away from the Knicks.
He's all Lakers, man.
Good. Well, that's fine. Don't pass on your trauma to your children of being a Knicks fan. I love you, buddy. That was the best. And we'll talk again. We'll talk some football at some point. I gotta stop.
Go Knicks. All off season. I'm ready. Let's go.